You're listening to Carlow Connects, a local business podcast keeping us all connected. Available now on all major podcasting platforms. Welcome back to Carlow Connects. I'm Paddy Carl. Carlow small but ambitious. We're very ambitious here in everything we do. Each week I meet someone driving things forward, and this episode is no different. What we're trying to do here is give Carlow businesses that little bit of a leg up. So now, if you've ever driven through the rolling hills of County Carlow and spotted a beautiful native hedge or a perfectly placed, and I hope I get this right now, a mature mountain ash tree, there's a decent chance it came from a little place in Hacketstown called Cullen Nurseries. This is family business rooted. Oh my God, the puns in this one are unreal. Quite literally, in generations of green fingers, okay? It started with a father and son, a love of the land, and a Saturday spent in a local nursery. Today it has 19 acres. It's a DAFM-approved operation and plants travelling the length and breadth of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Joining me this morning is the woman who keeps the whole show growing. Who wrote this introduction?
I need to give them a job.
From the admin to the marketing to, I'd imagine, a fair bit of mud on the boots. Please welcome Catriona Cullen.
Thanks very much, Paddy. That is a savage introduction. I'm delighted with that. Delighted.
I had to use a little bit of ChatGPT there, or actually I used Claude there, and it actually came up with very good puns.
Yes, pun intended, yeah.
Pun intended, and with that, and if we go back, Catriona, to I think it's 8 or 9 years ago, we met each other at Start Your Own Business course, I think, provided by Carlo Leo at the time in the Enterprise Centre. From when you sat in that chair that day to where you are now, I'm sure it's been a hell of a journey. You might just, can we go back to there to say, what in the game of God were yourself and Rob at?
Well, Rob was at something long before I ever came along. So when you're saying about a family-run business, Rob actually is very entrepreneurial. He flipped that whole thing on its head. Rob started working for himself at 19 and brought his father on board with him. So it wasn't like, father-son, it was son and father operation. And actually, it's 12 years ago along now that he was, before the nursery was as big as it is, he was doing an awful lot of maintenance and contracting, and he did the walking track in Clonmore, GAA. And I remember because I was heavily pregnant or just after having our last lad, our third lad. And there's a picture, his dad worked with him on that. There's a picture of his dad and our middle guy sitting on the bucket of the digger as they were finishing up the job, and I'd brought down chickadees and a flask of tea because I'm real kind. And this week we had to clean up the track, and our youngest lad was helping him out on a shovel while Rob was in the digger. Now, unfortunately, Rob's dad is gone, but I took the same picture in the same place 12 years later, and how we're third generation all of a sudden. It's still around the fulcrum of that beautiful man that is Robert Cullen, but how quick the time goes as well. Like, it does not feel like 8 or 9 years ago since we first met. Like, it flies, doesn't it? It just absolutely flies when you're busy, I suppose.
And at that stage, had Cullen Nurseries, was there an identity at that stage, or had you seen the business plan ahead of you, or was it like, I will take it as it comes? Or
it was all very organic in the sense that when Robert and I met, we bought 11 acres of land. Okay. Now, just for context, my husband came from a concrete pad in the middle of Hacketstown. He has one brother, and they were always landlovers. And like Rob would tell you stories about the time that they got into sheep, and it cost them, say, £96 to buy these sheep. They put a certain amount of money in and they got 102 back or something. But they were always into the land. And his brother's a very successful contractor as well. But when we bought Ballasalla, the first thing that his dad did, say he was born in the late 30s, but like he wouldn't have had a formal education, but was an absolute font of knowledge. And even still, we do practices in the nursery that his dad taught him, like the way we turn over manure and stuff, and the way he propagates, and very much can't be learned out of a book.
Yeah, there's science experience behind what they've done. It's just literally not in a book.
Yeah, it's not in a book. But he came from a concrete pad in Hacketstown. So when we bought Ballasalla, very proud time. And the first thing they did was put in a crop of potatoes, and everything went well till the potatoes got the blight. And we were like, no, not having that. No. So we literally started in the top corner. We were in a mobile home. We were building a house.
Wow.
And this man is talking about, and we had a small kid. Bobby was born in August 2010. And this man's talking about trees. And for me, that was just like, whatever. go on outside, just whatever, do it. And it just slowly started to grow. Like the field started to close in on us. The house got built, the mobile left. And Robert was really growing trees to supply into the gardens that he was building. But as he started to age, and I'm saying just mid-30s and stuff, and the price of materials went up, and he kind of moved away from the hard landscaping, like the patios and stuff. And Rob's passion is growing stuff, growing things, as he says himself. Like he went to multi-farm, he studied horticulture and multi-farm. And it just slowly just got bigger and bigger and bigger. At the time, he was advertising mainly in the Farmers Journal. And there was a scheme. So you said we were DAFM-approved. That means the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine approved. There was a scheme called the AEOS and there was rep schemes. And he was literally, I was at home rearing kids and he was on the road. He was literally growing trees, lifting them and bringing them an awful lot to the west of Ireland. We would have had a very good base in the west of Ireland, but like long days, long Saturdays.
Would you, and just bringing the family dynamic into that. So Rob has this skill, okay, yes. And he has this love and passion of this. And I'll just go to your background. You weren't from this background, Catriona.
Now, I'm from a farming community in the sense that my father reared sheep and I hate sheep. So when we bought Ballasalla, I said, like I was absolutely mad about it. If you said we're going to live on the top of Logo, I'd been like, all right, grand. But I said, on one condition, there's no sheep coming down that lane. I said, if you bring sheep down that lane, you will meet me on the way out. You are always in the wrong gap. So we figured trees are an awful lot less mobile. So we agreed on the trees. No, but I'm from a farming background and like I only came from 3 or 4 kilometres away. So I understood rural living. Like the time he brought me to see that land paddy, you couldn't get down the lane in my car. We had to get out and get into his Jeep. It was all overgrown. Like the amount of work he put into it has been phenomenal. He's always had a very innate understanding of the land. And like we use very little fertiliser or anything in the nursery. It's all like he's working on it the whole time. But if you asked Rob to explain it or write it down, I don't know if he would. He just knows it.
He's just so knowledgeable, yeah.
Yeah, he just knows it. So my background is I have an honours degree in biochemistry and I never used it a day in my life. So I went to Australia for a little while, came home, got a job in an abattoir and quickly became quality manager on that site. And I was there for a good few years and it's just trying to balance everything. And at the time I was kind of always helping Rob with the books. But Cullen Nurseries and the potential that was there in Cullen Nurseries was stagnated because I wasn't there. Because I had a full-time job and I also had kids. Now, I'm not saying, like, we work very well together, but he needed someone to do that end of things. He couldn't do it all himself. And it just didn't make sense for me to be leaving the house, getting my kids out of bed at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning, dropping them with a childminder, to go to do that for somebody else.
Yes.
So in, a good few years ago now, about 9 years ago now, one day I just went, I can't do everything. And I left. And I was terrified.
Because you were stable in a job, a salary coming through, and it's there every Friday or whatever, every month, and there's payments to be made, mortgages to be paid and all that kind of crack. And to just go, do you know what it is, Rob, I want in here.
Yeah. But it wasn't even like P still worked with us. So Rob's dad, P, was still working with us. So you've got 2 households very dependent on the one place, which is scary. And there's a lot of pressure on him. And I don't think he ever really felt that pressure. He's always had a phenomenal ability to back himself, but quietly, not like me going shouting and roaring about it. He's very, very determined, but he's quietly determined, which is probably even a more dangerous type of determination, isn't it? You just don't see it coming with him.
Yeah.
So Cullen Nurseries, look, that's when it really kicked off. And then COVID, I know it's probably unpopular to say, but COVID was a very good time for our industry and our business. Because we had a live crop, we could move anywhere in the country because people were stuck at home. And the garden, and we got a fabulous summer that year, the garden was very quickly becoming a sanctuary or the extra room in the house and people were putting their money into it. We engaged with the Leo an awful lot in that period. We got a website, never thought you'd sell a tree online, sold loads of them.
Okay.
And we were absolutely flat to the mat. It was very, very good. In the sense that we had an awful lot of sales, but in the sense that we had an awful lot of okay, we need to up our ante here. We need to make this work. We need to learn. Okay. And there was an awful lot of courses that the Leo were thrown out and I literally went to all of them, absorbed everything I could.
So at that stage, and if I go back to 11 or 12 years ago when you came into the business, and, you know, Rob, we've got something here, but we need help. We need to get out there. And did you look as Leo as that partner to say, hold on here, these guys can actually come in here and look at what not that we're doing things wrong, but maybe they can give us a leg up to show us stuff that, hold on, you need to do X to get Y. Do you know what I mean?
I think one of the first things that we did was like a feasibility kind of study, and we got a financial guy called Billy, he was down out of Cork, and he really looked under the hood, and I did not know my numbers, and I have not made that mistake again. And I couldn't believe how much I did not know my numbers. He was phenomenal. Like, just in the sense of, these are the things you need to know. These are the things you need to know going forward. And very quickly, very, very quickly, we kind of said, right, Rob, you're going to do this end of the business and I'm going to do this end of the business. And like, we don't make big decisions without each other, but I know what's my responsibility. He knows what his responsibility is. And that takes an awful lot of pressure off each other. I have faith in him. He has faith in me. But it was very early on, through the Leo, that we learned that. Through the Leo that we did courses. Now, when I say we did courses, I went on the courses and brought back the information to him. And we shared it out among ourselves and said, well, that will work for us or that won't work for us.
And do you think that, and if you go back then, Catriona, because this podcast here is big on the connections and on the networking, and I don't like the word networking at times, but the connection part is huge to me. So when you said to reach out to like Lee or whatever agencies you're reaching out to, did you know of how these things connect people and connect businesses with businesses?
No, and I suppose all of my connection was done digitally for the first few years because everything was online. So then we got a mentor, John Brophy, out of the Fairgreen, and slowly you're making connections the whole time. And you don't even really realise it, but even like we're big into the GAA and you go to Netwatch and you're like, I know him from somewhere and I know that person. And like, you're making connections all the time and your name is being spread among other business people, and you're the same. You're hearing of people through business. Sure, I know you through business, and now like we get on shocking well.
Yeah.
But you know, there's lots of people that you would never have come across or never have had access to. Even if it's only in a digital room, it's still a. I think with business people there is a certain respect because everybody knows what it's like. Everybody knows how lonely it is. I just even find with Rob, even with the circle of people that he would have grown up with, so. He's a 70s kid, he's a few years older than me. Most of his friends are self-employed as well. Because I suppose maybe that was just what they did at that time. You know, few of them went into the sugar factory or Lapple or whatever, but eventually they kind of went out on their own. There's an awful lot of tradesmen like electricians, builders, etc. But there's kind of a respectability there. Like, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but if you're not at something, people don't judge you for it because they know you're busy.
Yeah, and I think that, and I see here with Carlow especially, I'm in the construction business, right? But I look at other businesses that are in other industries to see, okay, what are they doing that we should be able, or that we can tweak into our business? And you're kind of asking those questions. Yeah, we do X. But how do you do that? So I'll just say like the lean processes or making your business more efficiency. A company like yourself might be doing something that we can bring into our company.
Very much so. And I have often text people and went, hey, come here. What counts package do you use?
Hey, come here, lad.
Yeah, hey, come here, lad. Tell me what have you been doing or whatever. Like I have, definitely. I'd say I've texted you a few times and went, Paddy, what are you doing for HR or what are you doing for wages or whatever? Definitely. And to know that you don't have to see that person on a continuous basis for them to give you that kind of information is very good. Like if somebody texts me and went, oh, Catriona, I like your social media. Are you doing it yourself? Are you using a consultant? You know, like I wouldn't mind that. I would be like, thank you for reaching out.
No, because you've put the effort in your social media, and we'll come on to that in short. And you're actually glad. Jesus, some of this is work. Some of this is sticking.
Yes.
You know. And,
yes.
But you have organically grown that. It's not just ad hoc. You've actually sat down and gone, right, who am I talking to? Who is my customer that I'm talking to on these social media posts or whatever? So there has to be a reason behind it as well. You're a DAFM-approved nursery supplying the acres scheme. In layman's terms,
okay,
what for people that don't know what that means, can you explain why that approval? You know, why does it matter to Cullen? And what does it mean for the quality of what you produce?
Yeah, so to be Department of Agriculture approved means we can supply to various schemes. So there's always going to be schemes to encourage native planting. What we do is we're growing it ourselves. So you're open to inspection the whole time. So someone from the department can literally walk in at any time, take samples, check your paperwork. I suppose it doesn't seem like a massive thing to me because I come from a quality management system background. So it's just something that I do. But I suppose it gives the customer confidence in the fact that we are open to inspection as well. It's not just, there's a certain standard that we have to work to.
You can't just start growing stuff.
No, it doesn't work like
selling.
that. No, and it's all time. Like, you say we were selling a tree. Like, that tree is grown in the fields of Ballasalla for minimum 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, minimum. And depends. Like, there's definitely a market for us for a bigger tree. So that's what we're focusing on. We're actually going to the Netherlands in July to look at a new machine. And the Netherlands, I feel, are world leaders in how to do things very, very efficiently. Robert and I were there a few years ago and my mind was blown, and we're trying to get to that stage. Now, we have 3 kids. They may come into the business, they may not. There's no pressure on them. But we're bringing them with us this year to show them what's possible, to show them what we're working towards.
But to get from essentially when you started growing the trees, the native trees that are native here to Ireland, and now you're opening up your eyes and to look at across to the Netherlands. Now you're going into Europe here now. You're looking at their skills.
Yes, like their systems, their efficiencies.
Their whole thing. So how does that come about? Does that go, no, we've got to go out to where the best in the world are at this? Like, did that come from someone saying to you, if you want to go down this road, you're going to have to go here? Or was it a decision by yourselves to say, no, we need to do this, Rob?
Not necessarily, but you kind of see, I've been invited to, trade shows. Like, I see the Leo go to trade shows and I'm like, there's a reason they're going out there. And there's a reason they're going out there. And the reason they're going is to make connections, but also to look at how everyone else is doing it. And I want to learn efficiency in our systems. Like, at the end of the day, we're 2 people in Hacketstown, County Carlow, but there is infrastructure, there's systems, there's machinery out there, and I want to know about it. I want it to be, like, you have to think as well, it's very labour intensive what we do. It's very labour intensive and it's people intensive. And the way AI is going and the way the workforce is going, we need to be investing in machinery. We need to be investing in better systems that you can retain good staff, that you can bring in good staff. So that's kind of where we're thinking of. But I just wanted to go, so this machine is going to cost us a few pounds. And I said, before I hand over any money, I want to see it. I want to see where it's made, and I want to see that we're getting everything that we need with it, first of all.
What is underneath the hood here? The pure nuts and bolts of this thing. And
I won't understand it. There's nothing sure. Like, he'll be talking about couplings and pipes and stuff like that, and I'll be just standing there going, it's bright and shiny. But
does it come in yellow?
Yeah, it actually, I think part of it is yellow. But I'm the one who will organise the finance for it, so I want to see it and I want to understand it. And I want to make sure, like, we have machinery at home, I want to make sure, like, it's all compatible. He wants to make sure as well. But I also want to see a few of the nurseries and see how they do things. It's a very different approach there than it is here. Apparently they have an awful lot of younger people who just come on. Like, they have literally pockets of the country who are dedicated to growing trees. Other pockets are hedging. Other pockets are like the ornamental trees. So it'll just be interesting to show our lads, this is what we're working towards.
Is it amazing how when people are on your website, and we'll come to all about your website and buying online, and when that invoice goes to your customer, but when they're just about to press either checkout or send that money across to Cullen Nurseries, for you to get that onto an invoice of what the input is to get that tree out to your customer. So if I go back to when that tree has been planted into the ground, I'm not too sure, correct me if I'm wrong, is it put in as a seed, or is it actually put in as a stem or something? I don't know.
It all depends. So you'd be growing some of your hedging from seed and you'd be transplanting it, but then you'd be lifting it again and you'd be transplanting it further to get a bigger plant out of it.
Okay.
So we would have an awful lot of people who want a starter hedge. We'd have people who want a mature hedge. You'd have a smaller tree that people have time to wait to grow. Do an awful lot of trees for the birth of babies. Okay. So grandparents especially loved planting an oak tree for their grandchildren. So I've sold one woman 8 oak trees. She's 8 beautiful grandchildren, one for each of them, right? It depends. There's lots of different factors to be considered. Like, like we would be making cuttings in, say, October, putting it in the ground. You might be living them for 3 years. You're constantly planning years ahead.
And are you moving? That's interesting. I thought you just put the tree there and off it goes. But are you saying that...
in some circumstances, not all the trees. So when you put in the trees, yes, they could be there for 4 or 5 years. Some of them you could be moving on, say, a nice handy 6-8 centimetre, 8 to 10 foot tree, but other people want a bigger tree. So maybe they've lost a tree in a storm and they want one to plant in. Say they've a row of 10 trees.
Okay.
And they've lost one in a storm. They don't want to, like that one was 15 years old. They don't want to wait for it to grow. Yeah, they want it now. They want to just replace it now. Yeah. So there's definitely a market there. So that's what we're going to the Netherlands for. Okay. Because that machine is going to lift those bigger trees first. But we have already started the process of where they're in the ground in Ballasalla. But going back to 2020 was COVID, but it was a good year for us as well because we bought another 8 acres of land. So we had been renting that land for a few years and the opportunity came to buy it. Okay. So we bought that as well. So that's about 3 kilometres away from base, but it's a nice big field. It's clean lines, long rows, etc. So we planted into that then in April 21 and we only started harvesting out of that November 24.
Right, okay.
So you're paying for that land for 2 or 3 years and you're not taking a single thing out of it, only what you're putting into it.
Yes. But you've got to look at of every line of trees or any line of hedging or whatever you're putting in, you've got to look at the cost analysis of that. Yeah. You've got to see how many you're putting down. When they come up, will they cover the cost of this? Will we make a few bob? Because at the end of the day, business are in it for profit. Yeah. Either that is just,
it's not a hobby.
It's not a hobby. Yeah. No.
That's exactly it. And that's kind of where we're moving forward as well, is I would rather have 20 trees and have 100% success rate and have, say you had 30 lines of 20 trees rather than 5 lines and just loads of stuff banged into the ground and sure might work and it might not. That's what we're moving towards now is efficiency the whole time. So I want to put in 20 of those trees and know that I have a market for those 20 trees and I can take 2 out of it this year, I can take 12 out the following year because people want it at a certain size as well. So there's lots of different factors. But you were saying there about worry, like it's not just when somebody puts something into the cart and clicks checkout, it's not done then. No. So we have to deliver it. But there is a massive gap in knowledge of how to plant and how to mind plants. Like anything we sold this season, this bare root season. So say the financial year runs from January to December, but the seasons for us are different. So our busy season runs from November till the end of, say, April for sales.
Okay, so you're literally only getting started.
Yeah. But in the same time, you have to start preparing for the next year. So in September in the year, we would line in trees in pots. So we grow them in pots so that you can plant them any time of the year. So we plant in September, plant our trees in September. But your stock, your hedging stock, you'd be lifting, grading. The stuff that didn't make the grade this year has to go back in the ground, but it has to go back in the ground before the end of April when you're still selling. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of hoping for the right weather. Okay. Like we got lovely dry May. Dry May does not suit me when I have 20,000 plants in the ground that need a drop of water. Okay. So there's an awful lot that goes on behind it.
So you're at a risk to the
big time,
there
the whole time. Yeah. And from storms. I remember there was a year we had Storm Ellen and Storm Francis, and we were expecting Francis to be a whole lot worse and did no damage. And Ellen wrecked the gaff. Right, and we weren't expecting it at all. Okay. So you've to allow time for that tidy up as well. Now, strategically, we have planted around our own nursery for those purposes in the last few years. Like in wetter spots, we have a few alder trees and stuff planted. We have hazel along the boundary just to give us a bit of screening and block the bit of wind. But even this year, this year was incredibly wet. Like from November, we had 63 days of rain. Yes. Okay. And you have to send out staff in that to lift trees. Incredibly tough season. Yes. And we had one patch and we had a batch of laurels in it and they have been there 7 years and 5 of them rotted in the ground because the water just sat in it. Oh, right, and there's nothing you can do about that.
After 7 years. That can be heartbreaking because the 7 years that you've put into that tree or to that hedge or whatever. And you handle the administration and the marketing size and and how important it has been getting the Cullen Nurseries into the digital and the online side of things of the business. Like, what's worked best for reaching new customers? Or, like, have you seen, Paddy has totally transformed our the way we do business? Or is it still 50-50 digital, the picking up the phone? And
I do like when people pick up the phone because there is an education gap. So somebody could like the look of something, and I'd be like, you might like the look of that, but that's not going to grow in your garden. Like, everybody wants a red robin hedge, but they want to plant it in a windy spot and they wanted to block out the neighbour. It's not going to do either. You know, so I do like people picking up the phone as well, because they think they might want something, but it's not going to suit them. And I have absolutely no interest in selling you something for one time. I want a customer for life. I do not want to sell you something that is not going to work, because that's going to cost you money, and at the end of the day it's going to cost me money, because they're going to say, she sold me that and it didn't grow. But they don't consider the factor that it's not for you. It's not suited to where you're trying to plant. And there's an awful lot of people who, they think they want something, but they don't. They might want it, but it's not going to suit them. It's simple as that. It's not going to suit
I
them.
remember going back, I think it was during COVID, and I think I bought a heap of laurels off you. I think they're Portuguese laurels.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what, but I remember you saying to me, what are you doing? Where are you putting them?
Yeah.
What height do you want them to be? And you really went into it, and I was like, Catriona,
I just want them.
I just want a tree.
Yeah.
And you were, no, but you need to do this X, Y. And then, you know, you sit back and you look at those trees now and you go,
She was right.
I'd hate to admit it, but she was right.
She was right, yeah. Yeah, like even I have one person and they are after cleaning out a ditch, right? And there's loads of big trees in it. And there's no ash trees in it. You see ash trees dying all over the country. There's loads of big trees in it. And they're like, I want to put in such a thing. And it's like, they are not going to grow in the shade. You have to plant for you have to plant for your area. And I was like, the first thing you're going to do is bring in a bit of topsoil, because those existing big trees are going to be very, very hungry. So bring in a bit of topsoil, feed it, and I think you should plant this plant instead. Now, they don't want to hear it, but like...
But people are probably getting more... They probably want to hear your advice though, Catriona, because they're buying that plant off you. There's different price ranges, but maybe they like when someone like yourself goes, hold on here, where are you putting this tree?
Yeah.
Or where are you putting a group of these trees? Because you know they could be spending a couple of hundred, a couple of €1,000 on this. You don't want them ringing you back in 6 months' time and going, jeez, my tree's dying.
But the worst thing is they don't ring you back.
Yeah.
They go and they say something to somebody else.
Yes.
She sold me that and it didn't work. I would be very much, send me over a picture of that area. Send me over a picture on WhatsApp and I'll have a look at it, because somebody could say, oh, I want to plant a laurel hedge, and you look out and the sea is right behind them. And you're like, that's not going to work there because they won't tolerate the salty sea air. So you'd be better off going with such and such thing. Oh, I never thought of that. You know, I would always say, send me over a picture. And your man would say, like when he rang me, he said, I've just after clearing out an old ditch. But he didn't say that there's 20 trees there that are 40 foot high, full leaf right now. The rain isn't even going to get to water those plants. So you're going to have to water them. So my conversation was, right, you're going to have to plant holly because it'll grow in the shade. You're going to have to put down a soaker hose because they're not going to get water. And you're going to have to put in a bit of fresh topsoil with a bit of nutrient in it, because the roots of those existing trees are going to take all the nutrients out of it. And your holly is going to be slow anyway.
Okay, so when that tree is coming out, or that hedge is coming out of your land, which is, you know, there's a science within the muck under the ground. So now you've literally pulled that from a very enriched, whatever it is, I don't know the technical or science piece behind ground, which I presume is very important. You're moving it to another destination that's not like where it was actually grown.
Yeah.
So I presume that's a shock
Yeah.
to the root of the tree
Yeah.
or the hedge. Do you know
Transplant shock. But
what I mean? Yeah.
that's something that I would, and I'd say people are like, this nosy Erin. What does she want to know that for? But I want to sell you what'll grow. I want to sell you what'll work, and that's the biggest thing.
And that then, by talking to you here, like, is that the advantage of a small company, a local company like yourself, than say the bigger players within the game? That, you know, actually, I'm really concerned about where you're putting this tree.
Yeah, I want this to actually work for you. I want this to grow for you. Like, I don't want you back here next year going, no, that didn't work. And I would always say that to people about, like, well, especially this winter, is your ground wet? And they're like, they were like, no, it's not too bad. And I'm like, okay, well, or people say, oh, it's very wet. And I'm like, is it wet now or is it still wet in July? And they're like, oh, jeez, I don't know. I never asked. We only moved in September. Right. Do you know, that kind of way? So you're trying to give something that will grow in either conditions as well. So I think, and then Robert says maybe you care too much.
Yeah, and that can be, that can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. It can be over obsessive. But
But I have
when you
500
care,
five-star Google reviews, so
yeah, but that makes a difference. Is that people are comfortable, but they're also trusting
yes.
of the product that's coming to their house or wherever, and that just leaves me. So, is Cullen Nurseries, are we more B2C than we are B2B, or is it
It's a
business
mix of both.
is it a mix of
Yeah,
both?
it is a mix of both, but it is predominantly end user. We sell an awful lot to end users. Like, I got a bit of flack on TikTok there one day, and your man said, "Oh, you're too dear" or something, and I was like, at that time, since November, I'd processed 1,957 orders, so I'm obviously
Wow.
not too dear, or maybe he just couldn't afford me. I don't know.
No,
Us, the product.
Yeah, no, but you're not being cocky that way. You're giving
it's
a
just matter of
service,
fact, yeah.
a matter of fact. And look, unfortunately, and I don't know, I didn't see the look. Negativity can be detrimental to a business, and we're always trying to give the positive output. But like I can hear in your voice and the whole lot of the passion to actually plant that tree and that hedge, and I can actually feel Rob putting that tree into the ground here now,
Yeah.
and probably cursing and blinding when the storm is coming,
Yeah.
and the water and all this kind of crack. But when that tree is lifted out in 4, 5, 6 years' time, and he's delivering it to that person, the joy of when that person puts it in, and you never know when you're driving past that place.
I love that.
You're driving past that place, and you look over and you go,
Yeah.
there's me 10 oak trees, or me 10 ash trees, or there's me laurels.
Yeah.
I'd say that's
I love that.
I'd say that's brilliant.
I absolutely love that. And we, like, say we were going anywhere, and I did an awful lot of delivering in COVID because there was no other choice. Because the people that were employed with us were married to healthcare workers, and they were all working, and everyone else was stuck at home. And the amount of places, say we were going somewhere, like I delivered in there, and Rob was like, "Just I delivered in there. I wonder are they connected, whatever." We have stuff grown in so many places, locally and nationally. Like, there's Scots Pines growing on Inishboffin that started life in County Carlow. On Inishboffin, Paddy.
Like that's just mad.
I went to Inishboffin on a weekend a few years ago, and we had to get the boat out and everything. And I was like, imagine somebody like bought that stuff. We bagged it up, and it went on this ferry out, and they planted it on Inishboffin. Like,
But like that's such a proud moment.
So proud.
And I guarantee you probably look back and you'll go, "Jeez, I remember selling them in 2016. Oh, jeez, that was a bad summer. That was."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're real philosophical about. I remember that. But we have a phenomenal amount of repeat business, and repeat business for me. I don't know about other business people. I love WhatsApp. I have my phone on me the whole time. You will get me at 10 o'clock at night from November through to the end of March. You will, because it's my busy season and it's sales. But and people would say, "Oh, you have to have balance and understand." I understand all of those things. But for trees and hedging are my priority, but they might not be everyone else's. And if they're sitting down at 9 o'clock and they're like, "Oh, jeez, I'm meant to text her back," and they text me, I'll go, "Yeah, grand," and then it's done. The deal is done, and I'll work out everything else tomorrow. But like, people don't have the time like they used to. Like, you know yourself, we have 3 kids. I'm constantly on a sideline. And I'm just kind of like, which one of them getting out of the car?
So we'll just mention your club is Clonmore,
Yes.
and my club is Palatine. So we'll even though we're the same colour,
Yeah.
Many's a heated debate has happened, but we'll put that there to one side. You just go back there to your loyal clients and customers, and now your followers on Instagram. I presume Instagram and TikTok are your
TikTok would be the biggest.
the biggest
present,
one.
Yeah.
Who'd ever thought that TikTok is a huge marketplace now? But that comes then to the network and connection with your followers, with your customers, new customers, and all that. Like, how big a role has that played in growing Cullen Nurseries? And would you have ever thought, going back, that I'm going to use social media to get us onto Inishboffin?
Yeah.
Like, how did a tree in Carlow that was grown in Hacketstown end up in Inishboffin? How does it end up on the far side of Donegal?
I don't know. TikTok is massive. TikTok is by far the biggest platform that converts to sales quicker. That's what I'm finding anyway. Now, the website is nice, and I have done an awful lot of work in SEO, and I did an awful lot of courses through the Leo to build my understanding of SEO. But TikTok is deadly, and I think people buy from people. And I think there's maybe just a connection there that you can't replicate that. I think the whole it's not as manufactured as Instagram. It's not as produced, if you know what I mean. You can literally just go out with your tripod, talk.
So you
post
are
it.
essentially yourself, Catriona.
Yeah.
You're just this raw person
very.
that hates to talk and doesn't like be the limelight of your business. And poor Rob wants to be that person in the camera, not you. But you're finding that, do you know what it is? I can be myself.
It's not even that. It's if you picked up the phone, say I post a video on TikTok and you pick up the phone, you're getting the same person. You're getting the same attitude, the same personality, the same person. That's what you're getting.
And a few old bits of cursing and...
Bits, yeah, sometimes I do lose the run of myself, all right, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that some places where you ring and it's very robotic and you just want to talk to someone and go, hold on here now.
Just
I
talk
have
to a
this
person.
situation here. I actually have a problem here.
Yeah.
How do I get that plant and what plant should I use? I just want to get it into the ground.
Yeah, I just want... An awful lot of what I get is, if I don't get this planted this year, she's going to kill me. So they're in the house, the garage is done, the kids' playroom is done, and outside looks like a bomb site, and she's going to lose the head. Or another one I get is, we've communion in May, and she's going to kill me. If I don't get this garden done, she's going to kill me. That's an awful lot of what I get.
And you love that conversation, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Because you live and breathe that every day of the week.
Yeah.
3 small kids or whatever, after building a house and all this. I understand because Rob was through that.
Yeah, I understand. But even, like, I would encourage people to come to the nursery because people have this concept. Okay, so in the summer, they know they're going to be planting in the winter. Now, we do have stock for the summer as well. But say the bulk of the planting is done in the winter when trees are bare and people are off and then gone, what? You know, there's just that little bit of a disconnect. Like the people who don't understand that we have to kill the cattle to get the burgers.
Yes.
That disconnect. And I would say to people, there's absolutely no problem. Make an appointment and come over to the nursery in the summer when everything is in leaf and in bloom and have a look and see what you do or you don't like.
And do you open up the nursery for people to come around?
By appointment only. Like I said,
only.
3 small people constantly on the road or on the sideline. By appointment. And I would rather see those people. And we can even, like, if they say, I like that tree, I'll mark it for them then. I'll be like, I'll ring you in November when that's ready.
But like, you now have... It's a machine. Cullen Nurseries, is a machine, but there's other businesses and there's other people that rely on you guys now. So the local economy is growing all the time along with you guys. You're growing with them and there. But isn't it amazing how a business in Hacketstown, no matter where they are, someone is getting something from you, you're getting something from them, and everybody, whether it's in the local economy or Hacketstown, someone is gaining something off it. Do you know what I mean?
But you think about the guy that put in our CCTV or the place that people would say to us, we don't supply bark much, but Woodside Garden Products in Hacketstown do. And they'd say, where'll I get the bark much? We'd be like, ring David. You know, the hardware, when you break down, you go to Steel and Spares or you go to David Butler Engineering or whatever. Like, we're all interconnected. All of us.
Interconnected.
All of us. And we mightn't talk from one end of the year to next, but we're all interconnected.
I know this person that does X, Y, and Z, and then... Obviously, if someone comes to me and they go, geez, where did you get those laurels from? Obviously, the first thing I'm going to say, Yeah,
but
she will answer your text and a WhatsApp at 1 o'clock in the morning. Send her a picture.
But I actually had a woman come into the nursery one day last year. They came up in the summer to look at the stock and picked out their trees, and then I delivered the trees in December. And she got out of the car and she goes, I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity. I hear your voice every night before I go to bed. I was like, I'd say my husband is like, I wish she'd stop talking before we go to bed. But the amount of people who are, like, I'm not going to say overly friendly, but they just think they know you. I was in Penny's one day and this guy that would have went to school, say, a couple of years ahead of me. And he was like, well, and he was just overly familiar. But I do that. And you'd see someone and you're like, how are you? And you're like, oh, I don't actually know them in person. I just know them because I follow them online. But it's a lovely, I have to say now, and not many people believe me when I say this, but I don't enjoy the process of making TikToks. There are times it feels like a chore.
Okay.
There are times, like, there's days that I spend in the office building the business, working on the business. And there's days that I'm just overwhelmed and I want to go out and for some strange reason putting your fingers in clay and physically doing something is a great way of burning off that excess energy. And there's days I'll be out in the shed potting. They're genuinely, and I enjoy it. And you see, because when you're building a business day to day, can you see it? Not really. You can see it over time. But when you go out and you pot something, you can see 100 plants there.
Yeah, but you're really getting into the nitty gritty, the topsoil in top of it, the nail, the hands are getting dirty, and the product that you're selling, you actually know the beginning of that plant or the beginning of that tree. And like Robert's expertise has built strong, customer relationships and yourself over the years, and in a world where people can buy anything online, right, from anywhere. Like how is that personal knowledge and trust in keeping customers coming back, like that knowledge that you're able to give those people, how important has that been to you guys to share it?
Oh yeah,
because some people can just hold on to it.
I am always telling Robert, people don't know what you know. They simply do not know what you know. And he has learned it out of a book, obviously through multi-farming or whatever, but he's learned it from being at it for 40 years. Like even when he was younger, in that terraced house in Hacketstown, they were growing veg back at the priest's house and selling it. Like he doesn't understand. He is so knowledgeable about these things. He mightn't be able to write it down, but he just knows it. And I'm always like, that's what we need. That's what I need to sell. Like not sell, but the product. It's his expertise that's producing a good plant. And Robert is so very picky. Like he's so, obviously he's good standards, but he's so very, like I know his standard of a plant. Even if say he wasn't there and there was a delivery going out, I know he wouldn't sell that. He wouldn't let that out.
Okay, he wouldn't.
No.
There's no way I'm putting that in the van here. No way.
No way.
And that knowledge, Bill, right? And I'm intrigued just to know the land in Hacketstown. So we cut off the topsoil to get down into that land. From your own expertise and knowledge, like what makes... Is the land so good? Is it enriched or what?
I wouldn't say that.
Like, do you have to work on that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He works on that the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, unbeknown, like, it's not like it's very strategic. It's just built into him. But, like, say, okay, so remember I said there was no sheep coming in. He got a few cattle. Now, I don't mind that at all. It's a hobby. He enjoys it. He loves it. He loves it, in fairness to him, and he loves the process of it. And I'm always amazed. He turns out really good cattle. Like, and I would kind of know cattle because I worked in abattoir for 10 years. Yeah. And he loves the whole process of it. I think it's obviously just his personality. So any of the dung that's created by them is exported out into the land. And that's what he's turning that, he's working that into the land. That's a massive part of what we do as well, is he's grown it in very, very good soil. Okay. Like, it's beautiful soil. He's mad about it. And whatever.
Yeah, but he'd love to just dig that hole there and hold that land, hold that whatever is into his hand, that muck in his hand, and he will actually know by looking at that. Yeah. And going, hold on here now.
Yeah, well, he does get tested as well.
But like over the years he's learnt that knowledge.
But yeah, he will know, like he will just know what needs to be done where. Do you know what I mean?
Isn't that just...
Yeah, and I'm always fascinated by that.
There's people being paid in the world.
Yeah. But I'm fascinated by that because I grew up in the country, and I literally had this conversation with my he's 16 soon, like about crops and stuff like that. I've no background in that. Like if you were driving past a field, I'd be like, I have no idea what's in that. But he just knows it. Well, he's interested in it. It's a big thing.
And look, as Carlow people, we are called scallionators, and we were very much, serious beet growers here in this county. So I'm reckoning Carlow is rich in soil.
Yeah.
I actually don't know why.
Now, we're on the Wicklow border, so we're not in the flatlands of Carlow town now or anything. But he has put, so we're in Ballasalla, God, it says 16, 17 years. But he's been working on that ground for 17 years. And
what it was from the first day to where it is now, he's minded that.
Yeah.
And
developed it the whole time.
One of your kids.
Yeah. Well, he's probably done more work on the land
like he's minded you, so he has.
Yeah, true. But yeah, it has been a labour of love, and I suppose it is starting to pay dividends now because we are in that position, like in 2020, where we were able to buy that land. Like if you'd have told us 10 years ago that 8 acres going to come up and you'd be grand, we probably wouldn't have believed you.
Right.
And that was fantastic. I remember the day we walked into that field. That was in November 2020, and his dad passed away in 21. And for him to see that was like, he was so proud.
Of course. And, to lose someone that was probably so big in his life, so huge.
Like, worked with him every day.
Yeah, worked with him every day. And then, his father has transferred whatever he has to him, knowledge-wise and all that. And just to see it grow the way it's growing now, and I hate all the puns, but it's he
was so proud. He was so proud, and even like Robert's brother is very successful in his business as well, and like I can't stress enough, 2 lads that came from a terraced house in Hacketstown. And they're just so into the land. And you know the way sometimes, and I'm not saying this is not a massive generalisation, but sometimes land goes from one generation to the next. But like, P was so proud that what they built from actually nothing.
Nothing. And that's...
Other than what he shared with them.
Yeah, but also, Rob and yourself, you weren't afraid to look for help. So, i.e., the Carlow Leos or someone that knows someone that we're over here and you should do this and you do that, because we all need help, especially in business, because it can be lonely. There's no doubt about that. So that's where the connection and networking.
But even I always say, like when I started working with Robert, he would say, you just do what you do so that I can just work outside. Like, he just never wanted the admin or the marketing or... Like, I'd put a microphone on him an odd time and I'd be like, dance, monkey. I don't. As you can see from our TikToks, he's just like, oh.
No, he does look natural on these TikToks.
Does he? Yeah. Naturally awkward. But
that's his personality. And anyone that knows our person, if anybody knows Rob...
he's just quiet. He's just quiet. And I'm like...
quiet after a few drinks, you know yourself. Yeah. The website mentions your 3 boys.
Yes.
And they're showing signs of green fingers.
Yes, they
are. Are they enthusiastic helpers, or do they need that bit of convincing to get out into the nursery? And this is not what I want to say. You've put family front and centre of Cullen Nurseries here.
Yeah, I would say we're a family business, but we're run around the family.
Yeah.
So they come first. And we're on sidelines. And Rob's involved with the under-12s this year, big serious commitment. Joe is the captain of the under-12s. And I think it just hit us very, very quickly how quickly their childhood goes. They have been with us. Like, from the time I started working with Robert and Cullen Nurseries, we have not had a childminder. They have been with us in every step of the journey. They're loading vans. They're out in the shed. There are evenings that they're knocking around, say, pucking a ball outside, and we're literally the other side of the hedge working, or they're working with us. They have, from the get-go, they have been exposed to the life of an entrepreneur. The youngest, I fully believe, would turn a penny into €1 million.
He's one of those.
He is a sponge. He is literally watching, observing the whole time. The middle lad does have to be encouraged. Now, he'll work and they're paid, but he's a fantastic support in the house. Like, he'd throw up a dinner that Gordon Ramsay would be.
Would he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's brilliant. I have to say the 3 of them are brilliant.
No, but brilliant in their own unique way.
Yes, obviously. But the eldest, he's into it. And the youngest lad is into it. Now, they're really looking forward to the Netherlands and seeing the machinery and all that kind of stuff. Rory's very much looking forward to the Aer Lingus flight and the croissants and the, and the nice food. But they are brilliant. Brilliant. And I love the fact that they can fully accept that the business is successful because there's a woman at the boardroom table. And there's often times that our kitchen table is the boardroom table. And
I was just going to say, you're surrounded by plants all day and shrubs and trees and all that. I'm wondering about that kitchen table.
It's just messy. But I know I'm very proud of that, and I have to say Robert is brilliant in championing women in business. And he would always say, we wouldn't have this only for Mommy and Daddy work together, and only for we work so hard. So they've been exposed from a very early age. Like, we are very, very lucky with them. We're very lucky, and they complement each other well. Now, that's not to say that there's not times that I go out and I send them to do something. You could find one of them pushing another lad around the wheelbarrow and another lad trying to wet them with a hose. Or you could get a Snapchat into the family group of pure tomfoolery, but they've the freedom to do that too.
Yeah, but every day, dog, Catriona, they're seeing the sacrifices and the sacrifices that you're making, but they're also seeing the work ethic, but they're also seeing that, yes, Mum and Dad, they work together. And that's not easy.
It's not easy.
That is not easy, husband and wife working together, because sometimes we are bringing that work home.
Oh, we always bring it home.
Yeah, and that can't be easy, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to provide for your family, okay? You don't want to show that, and it is stressful at times, but you don't want to show your kids, that this thing is crazy. Don't get into it. You know what I mean?
No, but at the same time, I don't know if Robert is as committed to this now as I am, but I do want them to go away and do something else. I do not want them to feel that they have to go into the business.
Yes.
I don't want that for them. Because something that you don't want, it's like they have to love it like we do. If in an ideal situation, they'd go away, they'd do 4 or 5 years somewhere else, and they would choose to come home to do this. That would be my ideal situation. Now, whether they do or they don't, maybe they'll go to horticultural college, maybe one of them do a business degree, maybe they go to the Netherlands. I don't know. Maybe they'll go and see what way it's done out there. I don't know.
Or they could go totally separate way and go around the roundabouts, which I like in these young kids coming up now, whether they go do an apprenticeship or whether they go do, they go to college. They mightn't go straight to college and do something, but they might go around about. Might do 7 years or 8 years of college or do something, but eventually they'll come back into something. That, like, at the end of the day, you have a degree in what you have a degree in.
Yeah, I can't see any of mine going and lighting up UCD now.
You have a degree in biochemistry. Like, where do you know?
Yeah, I remember one day somebody asked me what's with the big degree, and I was like, sure, everyone was doing them at the time. Everyone was doing them. I don't mind what they do as long as they're happy, and that's being perfectly honest. I can't see Robert Cullen ever retiring. It's just not for him.
No, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, can't see that ever happening. We bought even things like that. Like, we bought a lorry, right? Now, I never thought, it was kind of, in the 5-year plan, and kind of, it was always one of those things that kind of scared me. And I was like, I should put it on it, because if it doesn't scare you, you'd never fight for it. And we literally got the chance in January, and we bought the lorry. And he was like, we're buying this. I was like, yeah, we're buying this. Yeah. And that was all grand. But when the curtains came home and there was Cullen Nurseries on them, I won't lie to you, I cried. I was so proud. So proud. Then he went off and he got the lorry licence. And like, I walk out there and I'm like, that is actually where we're at though. We didn't buy it for the crack. Like, we bought it because we need it. No, that's where we're at.
Yeah, and I think people and businesses start to see you in a different light. They say, hold on here now. This is serious now. This is professional. This is, this, I want to deal with that. I want to deal with these people. I want to deal with this company because look how they portray themselves. And that other company's vision and values might be the very same as yours or a little bit different, but you're more connected somewhere through your values that we portray, the product that we push out to our customers. We actually care about that thing because it's been in there. It's actually been in our field,
yeah,
for 4, 5, 6 years.
Now, there's times where you'd get a picture back and somebody say you've grown, and there was a situation like hollies. Hollies take time.
Do they? Yeah.
Yeah, and there was 4 hollies or 3 hollies went into the Oris, right? And somebody seen that and they bought 4, and they killed them within the space of 3 months. Like 7 years in the ground
to be killed.
And then they're trying to tell me that's my fault.
I know.
I'm just like 7 years. 7 years. Just 3 of them in the Oris, like.
Wow. And Michael D, did he throw him in himself?
Michael D, yeah. Wow. That was great. And this time last year, we were actually invited to the garden party in the Oris. Very nice. But
I was wondering why you don't talk to me along the street when I see you now. You're going a little bit, yeah.
That's my bodyguard behind me. I'm Michael D's personal assistant. But that is frustrating because we grow, like, we love what we grow. Like, you say if Robert lifted a really nice tree, he'd be like, come out here and look at this. And I'd be like, and I'd be looking at it. And, we have that love for it. And then you send it to someone and they'd let it die. Purely from the lack of water. And I would have sent, so usually when you buy something off us, you're getting an email and this is a planting guide. This is how you plant it. This is how you mind it. They're just letting it die.
Yeah, it's, no.
And regardless of state, they're just saying, oh, totally my fault. I didn't water it. I'm just like,
yeah, but to be honest with you, I'd be ignorant of that. I'd be like, there's a tree planted. Sure, just grow. Grow.
Yeah, but then if you're looking at my TikTok and I'm going around going, water your plants.
Now, if Cullen Nurseries was a tree, what kind of a tree would it be and why?
Oak tree.
An oak, go on.
Yeah. Do you know what? It supports 326 different life forms. It's a symbol of strength. It's a native tree and it'd be here for hundreds of years. No. We planted an oak tree for each of our lads when they were born. So, and that's kind of kicks home as well because the first 10 years with an oak tree is the slowest and then it takes off. And like Bobby's oak tree is getting up there, buddy.
16.
Yeah, 16 in August. And then Rory was difficult. If Rory was born first, he'd be an only child. He'd colic, he was contrary, he was cross. Don't know where he got that from. I think he got that from Rob. And he was red in the face from roaring. So
is he shy like Rob, or is he?
No, he's probably not shy like Rob now, but and him and I fight a lot. But just so we're very familiar. But we planted a red oak for him because he was red in the face from roaring. And then we planted an ordinary oak for Joe as well. So there's 3 oak trees at home. But even like our garden has matured lovely as well. And because the nursery is right beside the house, when somebody comes, and I would always encourage people to come, and they're looking at a tree or a small plant or a plant in a pot, I'm like, do you know what, come on in here and I'll show you. And at least you can see what it's like in 5 years' time, or if what it's like in 15 years' time. So like, I'll be able to show people, like, I have a bit of everything planted in the garden. Different types of trees, native trees, ornamental trees, and you're able to show people, well, this is what it's going to look like in 5 years' time, or that was planted 2 years ago, or that's what it looks like planted beside that. So it's kind of like, I'm not going to say a show garden, but you know, you can give people context of what it can look like rather than what it actually looks like now as well. So that's ideal.
Catriona, I'm going to hold you there for a second because we're just going to take a moment to hear from our wonderful sponsors of this Carlow Connects. All Carlow companies, guys, we'll be back in a tick. This season of Carlow Connects is brought to you by 3 brilliant local Carlow businesses. Hickson Centra, Potato Market Carlow. Live every day at Hickson Centra with a fresh deli, a cosy seated area, free Wi-Fi, and don't forget to check out their brand new store on the Burn Road, your local spot for great food and great service. Woods Contract Cleaners and Property Maintenance. Woods provides everything from office and window cleaning to industrial and commercial contract cleaning. And now they offer professional solar panel cleaning too. Find out more at woodscontractcleaners.ie. Green Pro Energy Consultants. Based here in Carlow, Green Pro Energy deliver BR certificates, air tightness testing, and ventilation validation with fast professional service. Get in touch at info@greenproenergy.ie, your local energy assessment experts. You're all very welcome back, folks. I'm still here with Catriona Cullen. Serious thank you to all our sponsors of the show. We would not be here without you. It's great just to be able to hear Carlow companies out loud and proud. So, Catriona, before we wrap up, it's time for one of my favourite parts. It's before they were bosses. Can't believe you're a boss. Because everyone running a business had a first job. They've had a wild story. Did something happen in a job that when you look back at it, you went, oh, holy Jesus, what did I do there? So, Catriona, what is yours?
My first job was probably Lambert's Hardware in Hacketstown. And I was the only girl, and obviously there was lots of men in and out of the place. And I remember one day, I had a very, very quick education there. One day a lad came in and he said, I'm looking for sky hooks. And I said, tell you what, that they're down in the second row beside the glass hammers. And I knew then that I'd always be all right in the workforce. I was about 15, yeah.
You were that?
Yeah, I was 15 and I had my answer right. Because in fairness, my dad had me very well.
He had you well schooled.
He had me
so
well
you weren't going to be the person that's going to be the long stand or anything like that?
Yeah, or the bubble for the spirit level or this, that and the other. And I said, yeah, tell you what, they're down there beside the glass hammers. And I have to say, it went down well with all the staff. And
I'd say everyone that was going to Clarity, there's that one in there. But
yeah, she's an answer for everything.
That one is cute as a fox.
Yeah, that's what Rob just say to me. Oh, you've an answer for everything.
Catriona, I really enjoyed that conversation. I've got such an in-depth knowledge of Cullen Nursery there today, and you know it's amazing just to hear how a plant, a shrub or a tree, how it develops, and I've got to know you over the years. Especially when we went back to the course of starting your own business to see where yourself and Rob have brought the business and your family as well. And serious kudos to you and all over Ireland and Ishbuff and all over. And yes, I still walk out in my garden. I see that laurel and I can see it giving out to me to say, why are you putting it there? Catriona, if we want to get to Cullen Nursery, first of all, digital wise, where will we find you?
So the website is cullennurseries.ie. Then we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all as Cullen Nurseries. And then geographically, we're in Hacketstown, just outside of Hacketstown, about a kilometre outside of Hacketstown. You'll find the air code and all on the website. And we're down a long little lane. Don't lose faith. We're down at the end of it. There's a couple of potholes in the middle of it, so just take our handy. And there's actually a sign at the end of the lane as well. Organic children on the loose. So keep an eye out for them as well.
Organic children.
Organic children on the loose, because they actually could be anywhere. They could be. But yeah, just outside of Hacketstown, down a nice little private lane. And if you come down, we'll have plenty of time for a chat and I can show you around. And
then I'll finish this off then. She loves the old WhatsApps.
I do.
So send her your picture of where your tree is going to go, where your hedging is going to go. I can definitely 100% say that she came back to me very, very quickly. And guess what? We bought those trees. Catriona, really appreciate for taking your time and your time to come in to see us here today.
Thanks,
folks. That's it for today for Carlow Connects. We will have someone very much different next week on the podcast, thanks to all our sponsors, and a special thanks to all the crew here in Amplify. We've Shannon, the CEO, we've got Ash, head of production, and what an amazing job they're doing. And guys, give us an old like, listen, share, tell us your thoughts, and let's see you next week. You've been listening to Carlow Connects. Keep up to date with the podcast by following us on all social media.